Hello, and welcome back to Bookshelf Brilliance, where timeless knowledge meets modern insight. I know you've all already subscribed to us wherever it is you get your podcast, and that you're already following us on Instagram at bookshelf_brilliance. But in case you somehow forgot to do that, please take a moment now to subscribe while you're there. Give us a rating and maybe leave a comment. And then head on over to Instagram and give us a follow so you can stay up to date with all that's going on here at Bookshelf Brilliance. We're making good progress on our journey to understand the teachings that Dale Carnegie had for us in How to Win Friends and Influence People. We completed Part 1, Fundamental Techniques in Handling People, where we learned our first 3 principles. First, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Second, give honest and sincere appreciation. And third, arouse in the other person an eager want. If you're just joining us for the first time and haven't heard those episodes yet, you could start right here at episode 4, or you can go back and listen to this in chronological order. On this episode, we'll be diving into the first part of Part 2, which is 6 ways to make people like you. So, Chapter 1 of Part 2 is do this, and you'll be welcome anywhere. So buckle up, and let's learn together on how to get ourselves invited places. If we want to learn how to win friends and influence people, especially the how to win friends part, we should study the technique of the greatest winner of friends the world has ever known. Who is that? Anybody want to take a guess? I'll pause, give you a second or two right here to guess. Come on, think about it. Who has the most friends in the world? I'll give you a hint. When you're walking down the street and you get close to him, he starts wagging his tail. That's right, you guessed it. Man's best friend, our 4-legged companions, dogs. Our furry friends did not have to read Dale Carnegie to understand how to win friends. It's just in their nature. Whether you just came back inside from getting the mail, whether you've been gone for a week, whether you come home stumbling in drunk at 3 a.m., your dog is always excited to meet you. He's there greeting you with an excitement that you don't deserve. They're just excited to see you. They're excited for you. They are genuinely interested in you, in everything about you. When we don't feel well and we lay on the couch, who's cuddling right next to us? When we fall down, who's there trying to pick us up? And if they think somebody's threatening you, who's got your back? No questions asked. A dog has no ulterior motives, just sincere interest in you. For some reason that got Tupac's "I Ain't Mad at Ya" stuck in my head. I don't know why, but I just hear him being Tupac singing "I Have Nothing But Love For You, Baby" in my head. But enough of that. Let me get back to the task at hand. How can we learn from dogs? We need to become genuinely interested in people if we want to be successful. The key word there being genuine, being sincere. So come on, let's learn how we do that. Picture this. It's Friday night, Saturday night, you're at a wedding. Maybe you just went out to dinner with a bunch of people. Let's pretend we're at dinner with a bunch of our friends. We just put our orders in, and before the waiter or waitress runs away, we say, hey, 1 second. Would you mind taking a picture of us? And one of you hands the waiter or waitress your phone, and they take 47 pictures of you, and they let you know that. They say, hey, I took a bunch. I hope you like them. When you get your phone back and you're looking at the different versions of the picture, who do you look at first in that picture? Whether there's 12 of you, 6 of you, 7 of you, 3 of you, even if it's just 2 of you, you look at yourself. I often tease my wife when she goes to post something to Instagram, and I'm like, did you even look at me? Now, why is that? Are we all super vain? Maybe. I don't know. Especially now with social media, we all certainly have much more vanity than maybe we did a few years ago. But that's not the main reason. It's really because Who is the most important person to you? It's you. So naturally, wouldn't you like me better if I showed a genuine interest in you, in the things you like? Of course you would. Think about that. How great did you feel the last time somebody remembered your birthday? Or remember that you liked the Yankees and said, hey, there's this new Yogi Berra documentary on Netflix. When I saw it, I thought of you. And I said, you know who would love this? You. You can't help but like a person that genuinely cares for you, that genuinely thinks of you in those moments and wants to bring you something for no other reason than say, hey, I thought you might like this. There's simple acts of kindness that we can do that show people that we're genuinely interested in them. One of them that's a big thing, and I can't believe more people don't naturally know this, is paying attention to how somebody pronounces their name. A lot of times we'll get passes on last names. They're more difficult. But someone's first name. Living in the U.S., we have a very diverse culture. We are a melting pot. People from different nationalities come together, and there are some names of people that we come in contact with that are not traditional to us. They're traditional to them, but to us, maybe they're a little bit foreign. And when you read it for the first time in an email signature, you pronounce it, maybe incorrectly. This happens all the time, right? When I first read Harry Potter, I pronounced it Mugle, like bugle, the chips. I don't even know if those chips are still around. And then when the movies came out and it was Muggle, I was like, that's interesting. But I say it Muggle now going forward. But I wouldn't believe how many people don't do this when somebody introduces themselves in a meeting and they pronounce their name a certain way and they come right back at them and just say it incorrectly. How disrespectful. I thought of this as common courtesy, right? I wouldn't want someone to mispronounce, my name. But having a name, Vincent, that people don't often mispronounce, I don't know if anyone has mispronounced my name to me. I never gave it much thought. That was until one of our colleagues at work, one of my colleagues, she gave me like an attaboy, like a bravo for pronouncing another one of our colleagues' traditional Indian names correctly, which wasn't much effort for me to do. It, like I mentioned earlier, I think it's common courtesy, but it just shows people that you are genuinely interested in them, that you were listening to them when they introduce themselves a certain way. So when somebody tells you something that they're interested in, that their kid may like, take note of that. Be genuinely interested in that just because you're a good person. And when you see something, bring that up. If they tell you that they just got back from a trip or that they were going on a trip, next time you talk to them, ask them how their trip was. If the last time you were supposed to meet in person, they called you over Teams because they were working from home because they didn't feel good, next week say, hey, you feeling better? Again, be interested in your fellow person. Teddy Roosevelt was very good at this, and his genuine interest in all he came in contact with made him such a beloved man. He put into practice that age-old adage of treat the janitor the same way you treat the CEO. Teddy's valet, in a book that he wrote, actually wrote a little anecdote or a story of something that really stuck with him and his wife in Teddy Roosevelt taking an interest in them. They lived on the Roosevelt estate, and the valet's wife was telling Teddy Roosevelt that she had never seen this particular type of owl. And when Teddy saw one, he actually called them up at their house and started going, hoo, hoo, and told them to look outside the window so they can see one. Teddy was a pretty busy man, as you could imagine. He, became president, right? But still, every time he saw her, he would say, woo, woo. How do you think that made them feel? It made them feel like $1 million. We may be busy, but we're not president of the United States busy. So you can remember birthdays. You can remember whose kid likes this, who likes that type of cake that was put out in the conference room. Little things like this. When Teddy Roosevelt would visit the White House and he would come back, people loved it because he was just such a genuine person. He was a good soul to all of them, and he often would joke around with them, and he would remember certain things. And he said, and again, these were people that were in what we would consider maybe lower end jobs. These weren't senators, these weren't congressmen that he would bump into. This isn't the VP of the United States, right? He would do this with everybody, and that's why he was so beloved by all he came in contact with. Carnegie writes, "You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming genuinely interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you." If we want to make friends, let's put ourselves out to do things for other people, things that require time, energy, unselfishness, and thoughtfulness. Bringing somebody a cup of coffee, asking if they're okay. This will endear you to them. And if you ever need a favor from them, how do you think they're going to respond? If you radiate interest and enthusiasm with others, I think you'll get that invite to the exclusive meeting you want to be included in. It's time for us to round third base and head home. Remember, show genuine interest in people. When you greet somebody, especially somebody you haven't seen in a while, meet them with that animation and enthusiasm that you do when you come home and your 3-year-old's running at you. Be a hugger, right? Come on, bring it in, you handsome SOB. This isn't something new. This is something that's been around forever. They knew this 100 years before Christ. A famous old Roman poet, Publilius Syrus, was quoted or remarked, or wherever the heck they found this, but they found it, that this guy wrote this or said this. We are interested in others when they are interested in us. Be the positive light. Be the person that people are excited to bump into. Like a puppy. Everybody's excited when they see a puppy. You need to instill that same reaction when people see you. Be genuinely interested in others. It's the reason we all love talking to our parents and confiding in them. Their unconditional love and support lets us know they are invested in us, that they care about us and the things that we care about. My mom couldn't care less about football, but when the Jets win, she's super excited for me. So not to put Mom in the same bucket as Lassie, which again, I hope I'm not losing the younger audience. Google it, Lassie, if you don't know what I'm talking about. Just know that sincere interest in others can go a long way. One can win the attention and time and cooperation of even the most sought-after people by becoming genuinely interested. So remember, whose kid likes what? Pronounce people's names right. Ask about that trip they just got back from. And if they weren't feeling well, make sure they're feeling better. Part 2, Principle 1. Become genuinely interested in other people. Join us next time when we dive into Part 2, Chapter 2, a simple way to make a good first impression. Thank you for hanging out with us. I love it that you guys giving us some of your time. If you haven't already, please subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Bookshelf_Brilliance. Thank you again for giving us your time here at Bookshelf Brilliance, where we unlock classic wisdom one chapter at a time, and timeless knowledge meets modern insight.